It's Mauricio Mejia Live. Entertainment guru, Silicon Valley entrepreneur, author, and speaker. It's Mauricio Mejia Live every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on the West Coast and 10 p.m. on the East. It's Mauricio Mejia Live,
bringing to you real people, real day-to-day life experiences, and real business opportunities.
If you dare to step up. Join the thousands of viewers around the world
and become a part of the conversation.
Mauricio Mejia Live, every Wednesday on Facebook and YouTube.
It's Mauricio Mejia Live.
Oh, check 1, 2. You know what time it is, and you know what day it is. It is Wednesday, and it is the day after the election. We are Mauricio Mejia Live, episode number 30. This is the season finale, and we're going to end it with a very special guest tonight. People ask, hey, why do you do this? And, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, and I always love to share my story with others. And I love to have those great conversations. I like to share my pitfalls and my successes. Just so that you know, we're broadcasting live from downtown San Jose, our new headquarters right here in the Silicon Valley. So super excited. This is the background is the new office. There's a lot of great things that are going to be happening here, and I'm super excited to be sharing that with you. So again, thank you for joining us this evening. Mauricio Mejia Live, episode 30, season 1 finale. We're broadcasting from 7 p.m. on the West Coast and 10 p.m. on the East Coast on Facebook and YouTube and all around the world. So again, very excited tonight to have the special guest. I've had the privilege to work with him on a few events, specifically one, which is the Chavez Family Vision Cesar Chavez Breakfast. And we had him when we moved the breakfast from the Holiday Inn to the San Jose Fairmont. Damian Trujillo, who's going to be our guest tonight, was the honorable host for us that evening. So I'm very excited to have him here with us today, and excited to be working with him and sharing some of his stories. So without any ado, because I know he's busy, and we're covering the election. This has been a crazy roller coaster. I want to bring on Damian Trujillo, NBC Bay Area journalist. Damian, how are you tonight, this evening?
Mauricio, you're a natural at this. I think you're after my job, man. You got it down. I saw that show open. I was ready for the main event. Yeah, you got it going on. Congratulations.
Thank you. You know what? I've had some great mentors in my life, and I want to make sure that I produce the best quality, whether it's from production and also provide good content. It's not easy, and obviously being in the field that you're in. Trying to find the next story or the next topic to talk about can be very challenging at times. And I mean, we're always full of different things that are going on in our lives. And right now, I mean, obviously we're going through one of the biggest, probably most historical elections of our time. So, and we'll talk about that. But first, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time. I know you're home, you're working from home. You were just sharing backstage that you've been doing your shows from home, and now some things are going to be able to open up and allow you to get back into the studio, where you're probably a little bit more comfortable than and probably want to get out of the house already.
No, you know what? I did go into the studio today to kind of test drive it and see how we're going to do it. But next week we will be back in the studio. The guests will still be virtual. It's still that serious, so the guests will be virtual, but I'll be in the studio doing Comunidad del Valle for both NBC and Telemundo. And when I went in today, the newsroom, I haven't been in there in 8 months, and it was a little weird because there was the plastic partitions, and you're wearing your mask everywhere you're going and dusting everything off after you've used the equipment. So it's something that's taken a lot of getting used to. But yeah, I've been doing the show going on my 25th year, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, no, well, it's been great. I know that when you Google your name and NBC and your history pops up, you got you started when you were young, man. So let me ask you, born and raised here in the Bay Area?
So born and raised south of Salinas, a little town called Greenfield. Okay. I grew up as a farm worker. And what's funny is I tell the story whenever I do public speaking because I think it's important.
Yes.
I used to when you would return to school after your summer vacation, the teacher would go around and say, "This is in the lower grades. What did you do during your summer break?" And some of my classmates would say, I went to Disneyland in the summer. Oh, okay. I went camping in Yosemite. I did this and that, and it was exciting. But when they got to me, I would lie. I would say that I too went to Disneyland, that I too went to Yosemite, and I went to Great America. I lied, Mauricio, because I was embarrassed to say that I was a farm worker. I was embarrassed to say that I spent my summer days working in the hot fields with mud on my hands, mud on my clothes, clothes that I would wear. To be honest with you, I'll be honest with you, 3 days a week, sometimes 5 days a week, the same clothes, because that's what we had. And you wore them to work, and it was embarrassing. And so, I wanted to fit in. I want to be in the in crowd, and so I lied. But to be honest with you, farm work is, journalism is great. I think farm work is the best job I ever had, because it really humbles you. And it teaches you a life lesson like you won't believe. And to this day, I when I go see my mom in Greenfield, I see the farm workers hunched over, bent over, picking lettuce and picking strawberries. And you know what? I'll always be one of them. They're in my heart.
It's you share a story, and it reminds me of growing up in Southern California. By the way, I'm a Dodger fan.
This interview's over.
This interview's go Dodgers, right? We won the World Series. But no, when growing up in Los Angeles, I grew up with a single mother, and we didn't get to have the luxury either of having things. And I remember that during the summer times, my mother would send us to my uncle in the East Coast, and my uncle owned a large pool company. They built swimming pools, and some big, just amazing swimming pools. And every year that I would go there, he would teach me work. It would work ethics, hard work. And I remember one time I wanted to buy this brand new bicycle, and he says, "Okay, well, you pick which one you want." And I remember he said, "Okay, you'll have it, but you're gonna have to earn it." And I was like, "Okay, no problem," And he gave me a shovel, and he made me dig some holes for some trenches. And I was like, at first I thought it was badass. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this real quick," and boom, boom, boom. But what I realized that after like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes of doing that, my hands started to blister. And then when the first blister popped, it really hurt. And I started it. And I remember that I probably within an hour, 2 hours, I remember I stopped because I started crying. It was really painful. And I remember going to my uncle, and my uncle, I was telling, he saw the pain, and he saw, I was a kid. I was, 14, 15 years old. And I remember he told me, he goes, this, I don't want you to work hard. You don't have to, you shouldn't have to. He goes, but you need to stay in it. You need to educate yourself, and you need to do greater things and work with your mind, not your hands. Not to discredit what's going out there, but it's just what it was the best lesson for me. And it was the seeds that were starting to be planted in my soul, that I needed to do better in my life and go after other things. And it was the best lesson. So for me, the best job and the best thing that I did growing up was going to my uncle and learning that physical labor, the hard work, and appreciating it. And yeah, even when I'm driving down and I see the farm workers out there, there's such an appreciation for their hard work. I actually a couple weeks ago, you posted the picture that Whole Foods was doing.
Right.
And I actually used it. We were able to find it, and we put it up on, and just to how sad the depiction of what they would do, with something like that. So
no, it wasn't even funny. I can't even go there. It wasn't funny at all. But what you talk about your history and my history, they're life lessons. And you and I could have made the excuse of saying, well, you know what, I come from a single family home, or I'm a farm worker. That's why. That's my excuse for not making it and not challenging myself. But you and I took a different path, and we did what we had to do to get to where we are. I use this as a prop on my show. This is my dad's. This is called El Cortito. This is a short-handled hoe. They used to use this in the fields to make sure that the farm workers were always hunched over and working. They don't want them standing around or just lollygagging. So the farmers gave them that. I have a replica of that on my desk at NBC, and I have it there just in case once in a while my head starts blowing up, and I say to myself, stand back, carajo, look at that cortito, because that's where you're from, and it's easy to go back to that. And so, like I said, it's humbling, but it's the hard work that you put in at the beginning that lets you reap the rewards afterward. I mean, look at beautiful building behind you. I know it's taking you a while to open it up, but patience and perseverance is what it takes. And you can't. You're going to get knocked down in life. You just got to pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, stop making excuses for why things are happening to you, and go grab the bull by the horns and ride that thing.
Damian, I appreciate that, and I really did. It hits home with me because I've never taken anything for granted. There's been moments in my life where, yeah, you're right. My head got too big at one point in my life, and I remember when 2008, 9, and 10 were very critical years in my life. That's when the world turned upside down the first time in my growing up years, and to feel that impact and how much it affected me, because as a young kid growing up with nothing and only knowing success, I share this. At 25, I made my first $1 million deal. At 28, I was doing multi-million-dollar deals, and then at 32, in 2008, the world turned upside down, and I literally lost everything to the point where I became homeless. And not too many people know that side because I never showed them that. I was living at friends, couch surfing, and living out of my car. Basically, I was traveling back and forth to LA and back to the Bay Area. But I knew that I wanted more in my life, and I knew that I've been up there before. I've made it before. I can get back there. I just had to clear my mind and get that clarity and have that drive and push to give me that momentum to move forward. And what it did to me, that experience, was it humbled me very, 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 very much, because I only knew success, and I hadn't tasted that. My sister said it. She goes, "Oh, how does that humble pie taste?" And I'm like, it doesn't taste too good, but
no, we all need it. We all need a little bit of humble pie, because we're gonna hit bumps in the road, and it's the foundation that you create for yourself is going to determine how hard you fall, or if it's a soft landing, and how capable you are to pick yourself back up. But if you've lived a challenge-free life, then I want to know your recipe, because none of us has. We've all had our challenges, but like I said, you can't use those challenges as excuses for failure.
Yeah, I mean, even now during the times that we're in, I mean, we can't find excuses for what's happening in around the world or in our country or in our state right now. We got to power through, and we got to come together and really just push forward. Damian, let me ask you, what inspired you to get into journalism? I mean, you're a farm boy. You're what
had to declare a major for some reason, so I chose computer science until my first year. I saw the math requirements. I said, "Hey, what am I doing?" And then my buddy, who became my roommate, who became my knack brother, Javier the X-Man, he did high school radio, and he joined the college radio station there at San Jose State, Radio Aslan.
Radio Aslan with David Ocampo.
David Ocampo. He was there. He kind of showed us the ropes, but Javier said, we called him Beef back then. He said, "Hey, I have an opening on the show. Do you want it?" And I said, "Dude, I know nothing about radio. What are you talking about?" "Yeah, but you're bilingual. You'll do great." So it was my first venture into broadcasting, and I loved it. I mean, we pushed the envelope a lot. We call ourselves the brown berets of the airwaves, because we touched on topics that were critical to our gente, critical to our community. I mean, we would air only on Fridays, and I was in college, and on Mondays I start counting the days. Okay, it's almost Radio Aslan time, and that was some of the best experiences of my life. But from there, I mean, I fell in love with this. I fell in love with the microphone.
Yes.
I was doing interviews with professors and community groups and students, and I'm thinking, you know what? This is a special style that is involved here. Let me pursue this a little more. So I chose journalism. And funny thing is, in journalism, Mauricio, you have to be a chismoso, okay? Because and I grew up as
you're a fly in the wall, man.
yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah.
as a journalist, I want to know things first, and I want to be able to tell the viewer what I know, be the first one to tell them that. The only difference between a chismoso now and a chismoso when I was a kid is that I'm a professional chismoso now. I can't exaggerate.
You got credentials. You can. You have a license to be a chismoso.
I can't exaggerate the truth at all. I mean, in journalism, the way an officer respects his or her badge, the way a firefighter respects hers or her badge, the way a nurse respects her RN degree is how I respect my press pass. And so I can't cross the line at all in being biased at any point. I have to be truthful, but I still want to know things first, and I still want to tell people first. And that's when the chismoso comes in. So if you're inquisitive, if you like to ask questions and want to know things first, you might have a career in journalism as well.
Well, so I went to San Jose State too, and I was a double major there. I was business marketing and radio, television, and film. I fell in love with the microphone, and I fell in love with being in speaking and being engaged with people because I was in the entertainment industry at a young age. So for me, it was just it was natural for me. I could get on the mic and at a party and get the party started, and then it was on, and then. Radio, I was an intern in Los Angeles at a radio station, Power 106 down there. Then I moved to the Bay Area, and then I was a metido. I wasn't even an intern. I was just a metido, and I got in
Hot 97.7.
So Hot 97, I caught the tail end of that, but I was at Wild 107 in San Francisco, and then it turned into 94.9, and radio just was so political back then. I mean, it's still, now it's different. The media is a lot different because the way the world has changed in the technology. But I remember that trying to get into radio, I always wanted to have my own show. I wanted to create. I love to create. I love to make people laugh. So part of the inspiration of why I started Mauricio Mejia Live was because, if I'm not going to go work at a station, I might as well just create my own show. And here we are, episode number 30. That's 30 weeks. Every week I've done it. I've had some great people that have been on my show, some great mentors, some great business people. And to be here tonight, ending season 1, I'm calling it season 1. I'm even making it like it's the first season, and next year, we're going to start season 2, episode 1. And then it's just going to get better and better. But, it's motivating. It just feels really good to be able to share with the world. And I want to share. There's a picture that I got of you while we were talking about the handle. What is that? The handle that you have back there that you remind me?
The short handle.
The short handle. So I have we got an image here, and I want you to kind of talk about this here. So
yeah,
this has got to be a couple years back because you look very joven here, brother.
And a little more flaquito too. This is pre-COVID. No, you know what? We were driving down to my mom's. I think this is in Gonzales, and we've driven that road a lot, and we kind of said, you know what? Let's do this. Let's take this picture. And to me, it just symbolizes where I came from and where I'm at now, and how they both coalesce, and it really is one. Those were lettuce fields back there. I used to, I picked strawberries and garlic and pepino as well, but I also was an irrigator with my dad, and so those long pipes that you saw there in that picture, you turn on the sprinklers, and then after 6 hours, you'd have to move them. There they are, the pipes behind me. You have to move those pipes 13 rows in either direction so that you can water the entire field. Those pipes are about 18 feet long. And so sometimes we would do it during Christmas break. It's freezing. Those pipes were freezing at 6 a.m., but you took off your jacket to do it because by the third pipe, you were sweating bullets. And it gets windy in Greenfield. And so, I'm a chaparrito. The pipes are swaying me like this. And I hated farm work. I really did. But that picture, again, just kind of shows how much I didn't appreciate it at the time, and how much I appreciate it now.
Well, the picture says, they say pictures are worth 1,000 words or a million words, man. That is symbolism there, because where you're at today, and it just by where the background, it shows where you came from and your roots. And one of the things that we all need to remember is where we come from, because it's what we're rooted in. It's we don't ever want to forget where we come from and who were the key people in our lives, especially our family, our parents, and our siblings, if any have siblings. But let me ask you, brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have 6 older brothers. I have 6 brothers and a sister. I have 2 younger brothers, so we're 8 kids. Only 1 sister, and all of my older brothers.
Your dad wasn't playing around.
No, man. Every other year,
a team, bro.
Every other year, well, he needed a cuadrilla. He needed a crew to help him go out and pick strawberries. So we had as many of us as possible. But my sister was the oldest. I'm third from the bottom. There was 8 kids, and every single one of my siblings who was older than me dropped out of high school for one reason or another. And I'm glad you asked that, because so when I was in middle school, again, back to the teachers, they would say, you need to study this, Damian, because when you get to high school, you're going to need to learn. And I'm thinking, high school? She's not talking to me, because I'm not going to finish high school. None of my family members ever did. So I didn't have that inspiration that I was going to stay in high school and keep going. And when I got to high school, the teacher said, you have to know this, because in college, you're going to college. I mean, I had no idea what college was. I didn't know what a mentor was. I didn't know what a role model was until I got to college. I mean, that's how we're way out in the valley. I mean, it's just we're in the middle of nowhere, and so none of this stuff that we take for granted nowadays, we didn't have any of that. But all of my brothers and my sister who had dropped out, they eventually went back and got either their high school diplomas or their equivalencies and their GEDs, and they're doing great. I'm so proud of them. But in essence, they sacrificed their careers for me, because there were so many of us. Somebody had to work, somebody had to help feed the family, and it's always the older ones who pay the price, and they did. But I said, you know what? I'm getting the heck out of here. I can't do field work for the rest of my life. And I came to college. My 2 younger brothers followed me. They came to college as well. They both have college degrees. My youngest brother has a master's degree, and so I'm proud of that as well. But it's a lucha, man. It's a battle, and I love all my brothers and my sister, and we're
tight family.
Yeah, it is, and I miss all of them during COVID because I can't see all of them at all. But no, we are a tight family. Every Christmas is beautiful because I lost my dad 12 years ago, and we get together in his memory as much as we can, and we celebrate his life.
Wow. And mother's still here?
My mom is good. She's kicking. My mom has every ailment that you can imagine. But I'll call her and she, estoy bien, and she's still in Greenfield.
She's not going anywhere.
No.
She's a fighter all the way to the end. She
really is, and she's my mom and my dad right now, and she's doing an awesome job. I love her to death.
Let me ask you, so you're in college, and that's obviously seems like Radio Aslan and the broadcasting at San Jose State is kind of what planted some seeds there, and then obviously you pivoted and got to, what's your first gig? I mean, how'd you get onto NBC? Have you been on NBC all your life, or did you?
What's funny is you have to get into this business, you have to move to a small town, a small TV station, Black Rocks, New Mexico, or Boise, Idaho, somewhere that's really obscure in Montana. A lot of our interns have done that, and I was ready and willing to do it. But I still have a stack of rejection letters about this high that says, oh, thank you for applying. You don't have the qualifications, but we'll keep you in mind. It was probably about 9 months after graduation, I got a call from Telemundo here in San Jose, and they said, we don't have a reporting position, but we have an assignments desk position, and they're the ones who assign the stories to all the reporters and field all the phone calls from the public. And I said, oh, that's not what I studied. That's not what I want. but it's my foot in the door. I don't want to do it in Spanish. I want to do it in English because I'm from, I was born here. I studied the profession in English, but that was my foot in the door. And 6 months later, they're hiring a reporter in Telemundo, and they brought in candidates, and my news director didn't like the candidates that came in, and he says, "Do you still want the job?" And I said, "Heck yeah!"
Heck yeah!
So it was here in San Jose, and so from here I was at Telemundo for a year and a half, and I applied at KNTV, but with Doug and Maggie back in 1996, and I got the job, and it was ABC back then, and then it became NBC. But I've been at the station for going on 25 years, and I never had to leave town. I'm very fortunate.
Wow, that's lucky, because
Yes.
I know people that are in the industry and they have to move to these like obscure towns. Like I have a friend, Adriana, who's Adriana. She's now in South Carolina. She was up in Wisconsin. I mean,
Wow.
it was crazy. And but yeah, no, it's interesting. Did you ever work with Rigo Chacon? I mean, were you guys ever part of the same station, or? Because I just know, obviously, he was a big person here in the Bay Area. So
He's my mentor.
Okay.
And he's my compadre. I baptized his now 25-year-old son, Cuauhtemoc. It was funny because I met Rigo when I was at San Jose State. I was in journalism, and he came in to speak. And boy, that man just is a commanding presence. He just stood in front of the news, and his voice was really deep, and I'm Rigo Chacon. And I'm like, wow. So I went up to shake his hand.
I remember. I don't know if you know the joke that George Lopez does on him. You know,
Yeah.
Rigo Chacon, right? That's the first time I've ever heard of Rigo Chacon. I'm like, who's this Rigo Chacon guy? And then then I got to watch one of his clips. I was like, oh, that's the guy that George Lopez talks about. And then
I never saw the clip, but I heard about it. But no, you know what, Rigo. I met him after class. He shook my hand, and he gave me his business card, and I kept his business card, and I never let go of the handshake. He really took me under his wing. And you know what? I'm a student, okay? I'm trying to get into business, and here he is taking me on an extended paid internship at KGO back then, and he introduced me to all the powerhouse leaders in San Jose. And to me, that legitimized me in the eyes of the community, because if you're talking to mayors, if you're talking to district attorneys or police captains, and you're walking next to Rigo Chacon, who's this guy? Well, he wants to get into business. Oh, okay. Well, if Rigo trusts you, then I think I can trust you. And so Rigo really legitimized my presence, and I'm forever indebted. We're trying to meet once a month, at least for breakfast, so we can talk, and so I can still learn. He's still bright as a light. I mean, that guy is he's a poet. He's an awesome speaker, and but more than anything, he is a beautiful human being.
That's awesome. I know that I know his son, Rigo Chacon Jr.
Yeah.
And that guy's talented. He's funny, man. He does some skits, and he's always telling me, está teniendo riendo, man. I mean, he does some silly stuff, and then, being in the entertainment industry, he's done a couple skits where he uses the liquor bottles, and he's just, wherever that creativeness comes, I told him, I said, man, you need to start putting some material up, because your stuff is off the hook, and it makes people laugh. So then obviously Rigo was a big part of your career, mentored, lifted, and embraced you. And then, and for people that are out there listening too, it's important to have a mentor in your life. I know that I've had a lot of great mentors in my life that have helped open up and pave the way for where I'm going, and I'm continuing to. I mean, one of your fraternity brothers, Tony Ariola. This office, our new playroom here it's a project in conjunction with him, and he's one of my mentors right now, and I really want to follow his footsteps in the real estate development, the high density real estate development, alongside with my other company that I'm running. And but it's important to have great mentors in your life, because they give you they shorten that learning curve so that you don't have to go through all the pitfalls, you know. And if you pay attention and you're a student and you're really absorbing it, then you can avoid all of those pitfalls and get to where you want to be at faster in life.
Yeah, no, I mean, we all need to reach out and reach back and pull up the chavalitas and chavalitos who are going to be here when I'm not here. Because it's important work that you do. It's important work that I do. But once you and I are gone, did we plant that seed? Are we going to be able to harvest what we planted? And if we don't, what does that say about our legacy? There won't be a legacy. There was a public speaker. I think she's a captain with the Army Reserve, and she said, on your tombstone, you're going to have your name, the date you were born, plus the dash, plus the date you die. And she said, what are you going to do with that dash? That's the most important part of what's there is, how are you going to live your dash? Are you going to lift people up? Are you going to inspire them? Are you going to leave your mark, or is it just going to be a dash? And that's up to all of us. How are you going to live your dash?
Yeah, and that's important, and that's one of the things that really has become my purpose and my why. And for me, I'm motivated to work. I love to work. I mean, I'm still here in the office. I love it because I feel that I'm doing something. I'm making an impact. I'm giving back. If I can help someone in their business, if I can teach them to avoid pitfalls that I have done, then it just makes everyone. It's a win-win for everybody, and I think that's just important. So for me, it's continuing to pay it forward and give back and get within the community. Now, I know that you get involved in a lot of different community events, and some of maybe the highlights of some of the big community events. I know that we worked together when we did the Cesar Chavez breakfast at the Fairmont Hotel. That was the first one when we rolled it out, and that was an amazing experience. It went from 200 people to 500, sold out. We scripted it. I mean, it was a well dialed in program. And you had the honors of doing that first one. I loved it. Awesome. It was so fulfilling to see all the kids that got scholarships, money for their schools where they wanted to go to, and just the acknowledgement and to see their smiles. I think that was really where it was really just warm for me. It was fulfilling.
And I think bottom line, that's why you do what you do. That's why I do what I do. I mean, it's not, you try to improve your own life, but you want to make sure that your community, you bringing them up with you as well. And so that's what I've tried to do. But whenever somebody asks if I'm able to speak or moderate or be an MC, if my calendar says I'm not booked, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's at the peril of family time here with the kids and my wife, but it's about community. And as long as that bell rings and nothing is on my calendar that interferes, and I'm going to do it.
You were given an award back in I think it's you're an Emmy Award winner here.
Yeah.
So NBC 2018 Emmy winner, and is this for your journalism?
Yes.
For what you've done.
That's
share
what
with
it
me,
is.
Share with. I mean, that right there. That's got to be. That's an accomplishment, a big accomplishment there, Damian. I mean, what's going through your mind? You're getting acknowledged. I mean, it's. I mean, depending on how you look at the award, but how does that make you feel, man? That you're reaching these pinnacles, man.
It's humbling. It's humbling because well, number one, I'm getting paid to do a job, and that is to provide the news. When you get recognized for that job, especially receiving, one of the highest honors in broadcast journalism, an Emmy Award, it's humbling. But honestly, Mauricio, I'm not blowing smoke in your ear here. It wasn't just me up there; it was my entire community because if I'm not with my community, I'm not where I am today. I've gotten so much support from them, and I think that was a climax of that career.
Wow.
I received humbly another award from the It's called the California School Boards Association. It's called the Golden Pen Award for my journalism work when it comes to education. And that, I don't know if that means a lot more, but it's right up there, because when you get recognized by your peers, it's one thing. They see your work and they like it. When you get recognized by the community, boy, there's no comparison to that. Because they're the ones who put you there. They're the ones who put me where I'm at today. The community did, and for them to recognize you for that, again, I'm using the word humbling a lot, but it really is. It brings you down to earth, and it makes you realize that I'm not doing it just for me. There's a whole community that's behind me, that's counting on me. And that's why, Mauricio, I want to touch on this point.
Yeah.
I getting back to how much I respect my press credential. I can't be an advocate as a journalist. I can't pick up a picket sign and go picket somewhere. I can't march for this. I can't be pro this or anti that. I'm a journalist. And I might lose some fans for this, if that's what they're called. But what Jorge Ramos does on Univision, he took a stand, and it's a pro-immigration stand, and he's taking that stand, and he's proud of it. And you know what? Good for him. But in my opinion, I think he should turn in his press pass, because he's crossed that line. He can still be a journalist where he becomes a host and he can express his opinions. But as a reporter who's out there trying to be unbiased and not present any sides, I think you cross that line, and you really can't do that, because now there's no gray area. Either you do it or you don't.
Wow.
And as much I grew up watching Jorge Ramos, but journalistically, I don't agree with his approach.
Let me ask you, I mean, do you think that the climate has changed a lot in the last 4 years for what's happened, and a lot of reporters have been pushed just because, the way the climate is right now? I mean, it's, have you seen, obviously, in the last 4 years, just by the way, I mean, there's so many things. You've been on the front lines of some of these, the protests and some of the things. I mean, sometimes do you get caught where you have to, you have to push that boundary, or, I mean, you have to respect what you have, but at the same time,
no, you have to be thick-skinned. You can't cross that line. I mean,
okay.
I've been insulted by both sides. The left has called me a Pentagon stenographer once, and then the right has called me fake news.
Yeah.
But you know what? It bothers me, the fake news part, because I'm telling you right here on this show how much I respect my press pass, and I can't be biased. And then someone is saying fake news, but it's got to go in one ear and out the other. You have to be thick-skinned and carry on and address everyone as sir and ma'am, because you got to show respect, even though they completely disagree with what you're doing. You're representing an industry. I'm representing not only an industry, but also the Latino community. And, if I cross that line, if I get into whatever gray area there might be, then I'm not doing a service to my job.
You have your show, Comunidad del Valle. That's been going on now for how many years now?
Well, that's a good question. I've been doing it for going on 25 years.
Okay.
But I was about 12 years old. When I started watching the show in Greenfield. We used to get Channel 11 back in Greenfield with Doug and Maggie. Bob Stepanich was doing sports. But we only had 3 channels back then. It was ABC, NBC, and CBS. And so on Sundays, it would be the NBA on NBC, and it was always Celtics, Lakers. And so before church, I'd watch the beginning of the Lakers Celtics. But then I noticed that Channel 11 had this Latino hosting a show. And I'm like, I'd never seen a Latino host a show before. So, okay, let me go back to the sports. Okay, what's that guy talking about now? And it was Mario del Castillo. He was the one who was hosting Comunidad del Valle back then. And I mean, at that time, I'm 12. I had no idea that one day I would be hosting the show that I was watching as a kid. And I got the Channel 11 in 96. And 3 months later, nobody wanted to do the show. When my news director asked me, "Do you want to host this show?" I said, "Yeah," and I love it. I mean, I have the likes of you and so many amazing people who I've met, who I've had on the shows, from farm workers to paleteros to Little Joe to Flaco Jimenez, you name it. They've been on the show, and
Los Tigres del Norte.
Los Tigres del Norte.
I've been on your show.
I mentioned you. Los Tigres, I told them I've been trying 22 years to get them on, and I finally was able to do that. And funny, it's a small world. Hernan has now become a really good friend of the families, and it's. I mean, sometimes I sit back and I'm watching TV and I'm like, I don't deserve this. I'm a farm boy.
No, man, you deserve it all. You've worked your ass off, Damian, and it's you can never take that away. You've earned it, and you're continuing to do great things. You continue to represent the community. I have a big admiration for that, and I look to you as a mentor as well, and as a friend, because not too many Latinos are representing us on a positive light. So for what you're doing and for how you represent the facts, not the opinions, that to me it's important, and it's important to continue to put out a positive message, not just for the Latino community but for all people, and continue to do great things, because we need that representation. We're in Silicon Valley, man. This is the heart. This is a global destination of the world. The Silicon Valley, San Jose is the mecca of technology of the world.
Yeah, y aquí estamos y no nos vamos. And I mean, and thanks to you. I mean, I remember, was it 12 years ago, I approached you when you were managing the vault.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, hey, listen, I want to do a special show at Comunidad del Valle. I'm looking for a venue. I don't have any money, but I'm looking for a venue to do the recording. And I might, if we raise any money, it's going to go to the Cesar Chavez Family Vision. Mm-hmm. And on it is when we taped that show with Gabe Manzo, Abel Sanchez, Jorge Santana, que en paz descanse, and Richard Bean. And they sang Suavecito and Love the Way. And
I remember that.
Thanks to you, man. You basically told me, here's the keys. The venue's yours.
Yeah, there you
Thank
go,
you very
man.
much.
No, you're welcome. And anything that we can do to continue to help ourselves and continue to move up. Really quick, you got a big fan that's in here. I don't know if you see the comments on the side. There's people that are dropping comments. And,
I don't see that.
There's a little side where you can hit comments, and you'll see people
there it is.
leaving
Okay.
live comments. You have Pablo Garcia that says, just report the facts, no opinions. You have people they remember Aslan Radio. So my mom's in here, and she sent me a picture right now. Now, while we're doing this, I'm moving quick on the back end. And she's like, say hi, and then she sends me the picture. So I'm going to put this picture up really quick. This is you and her. And I'm trying to think what the background is here or where this event is, but that's my mom. And this has got to be some years.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, that looks like the theater of the Mexican Heritage Plaza. I'm thinking of the colors and what it looks like. Maybe I'm not sure, but whoa, that's a throwback there. I'm more cacheton now.
Oh, it's the COVID. It's the COVID, bro. It's the COVID.
Man. That's what I'm blaming. I'm blaming it on that.
So my mom watches the show, and I always got to give a shout out to mom, because if not, then me jala las orejas later. So. We got to make it happen, but no, there's people that are on here that for like they're talking about the election. What's your take on what's going on right now? From a position of a journalist, how do you look at how the media has been so disrespected and so devalued? Almost even demonized. And I'm not trying to fluff it up, man. These are the words that just come to my head, because that's how it feels. It feels that, there's so much news and so much information coming at us now that it's just really hard sometimes to really figure out what's what.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't take it personal. I've said that before, but you really can't. I'm human. Yeah, it affects me. Sometimes I'll come home and talk about it with my family, but you just can't take it personal. At the end of the day, someone said, I think it was Dr. Jose Carrasco at San Jose State, who's a professor. He said something like, if you don't do anything, no one is going to talk about you. If you do something, people are going to talk about you, whether it's good or bad, but they will talk about you. And
That's
so,
right.
That's the category that you want to be in. But the election, it's just, I'll tell you one positive thing about the election, Mauricio, is last night I was live at the Mexican Heritage Plaza. We had crews all over the Bay Area, and there was nobody in line voting at those other locations. The Mexican Heritage Plaza was packed. There was a line of an hour and a half for people to get in and vote, and it was dark, and it was 6:30, and people were still arriving to vote. This is the heart of East San Jose. This is a Mayfair community, predominantly immigrant, low income, but they said, you know what, I'm as American as anybody else, and I'm going to vote. And that was just that was beautiful to see that last night.
Yeah, no, it's and Latinos came out. They came out to represent, and they came out to vote. It's interestingly enough, and again, we're not going to pick sides here. This I stay away from that one. But I know that the Latinos came out. They represented, and some went right, some went left. But everyone. This is why we live in the greatest country in the world, because we have that ability to make that choice.
It really is. I mean, this country has its flaws, and they're major flaws. This country is divided right now. Half the country feels strongly one way, the other half feels strongly another way. It's a divided country. But what makes this country so beautiful and unique is, those two faces on the screen, the brown and black, and the other faces that truly represent what America is about. It's a welcoming country that welcomes everybody, no matter your background, your wealth, your ethnicity, or your sexual orientation. You're welcome in this country. Even though some people might not see it that way, no, this is America. And it'll be, hopefully it'll be more accepting of everyone than what we're seeing right now.
So when we say and we use terms like the country is divided, I think the country is. I don't want to say it's always going to be, but there's moments where it feels like we're all united, we're all one, and things are moving forward, and there's harmony in the air. And but if we really think about it, I mean, it's history repeating itself. I've used to hear that when I was younger and in school. History repeats itself. It's just, this is history repeating itself, but it's just a different version of it. We have technology, we have news that travels a lot faster than it used to before, and so information is just flying real quick. I think that this is a very pivotal point in all of our lives now, where we're going to, it's either 4 more years or 4 new years, and in the direction that we're going. And right now, the last poll that I saw, I think Biden was winning. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks, or next couple of days, and it's going to be interesting to see what your reporting is going to be, because you're in it, you're living in it. So you're the chismoso.
I'm not chismoso, man. I'll keep bringing you the chismes at 5 and 6 every night. Yeah. Mauricio, it was beautiful also también yesterday to see abuelitas with their ballot in hand, and moms with their children with their ballot in hand, to show the children what voting is about, why it's important. Why would you stand for an hour and a half so you can drop this paper into the slot? Because it matters, because this is America and it matters. And that was beautiful to see.
Yeah, and it is important. And I was doing my part for the entire. I mean, I'm a big advocate. I've never missed an election. My first, when I turned 18, I boom, and I can vote. I was on it. So to this day, I have never missed an election. I've always been a active person, and I don't really like to. I don't like to hear people that complain. And then I ask them, hey, did you vote? They're like, no. I said, well, then you don't have a right to complain or give your opinion. You can give it, but I'm not. We're not having a very intelligent conversation, because you're not active. You're not engaged in making a difference. People are sold on this idea that their vote doesn't count. Well, if you're going to use that as an excuse to not vote and get engaged, then I just keep moving, because we need to definitely do our part and get engaged. I mean, my parents are immigrants from El Salvador. So for me, it's a privilege, it's an honor to be born here in the U.S. and to have that right, that born right, and then to look back, for people that are not born here, but really strive to get their citizenship and become a part of this country and really embrace it. So it's important, and I appreciate everyone that went out and voted. Votes are still being counted, and that's the news cycle that we're hearing right now, right? Is votes are still being counted, and we're going to see how much longer it takes for certain areas and certain states to get through that process.
Yeah, and it's a process, and we just have to be patient and with whatever the outcome might be, and whatever it is, you can't use it as an excuse for why we shouldn't start doing certain things a certain way. Just live about your life, pick each other up, and make your community better. It starts with you at home, it spreads to your community, your neighborhood, and before you know it, you'll have the whole city and the whole community behind you.
Absolutely. Damian, I know that I've taken your time this evening, and I want to say thank you. I want to really wrap it up with your words of wisdom, your inspiration. There's people that are out there watching you that have been watching you for many, many years. You have made an impact. 25 years you've been a voice of the Latinos in this community. What are some nuggets you can share with us tonight and leave us with something happy and positive?
No, I'll tell you what. When I couldn't find a job in journalism, I made a sign on my computer, and I taped it to my door of my room at home, and it said, "No me sé rajar," which means I don't know how to quit. And that's a song by Vicente Fernandez, and it's a love song. But those words themselves, "No me sé rajar," were just so powerful for me that I kept that sign up on my door until I got a job in journalism, and I did get a job in journalism. So my advice to everybody is, do not ever learn the word quit. No se sepan rajar. Don't learn how to quit. Keep at it. Don't make excuses. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and go get them. It's not going to be easy. It's a 12 round bout, and give them all you got.
Yeah, and I know what it's. I've been training by when you say bouts.
I've seen you.
Man, I've been my trainers in here. Ruben Guerrero, Robert the Ghost Guerrero's brother. Ruben's been kicking my ass at the gym, and then his father jumps in, and his father's the mad dog, the trainer. Man, that dude takes me. That guy's got so much energy. I'm like, I'm out of breath. I'm like, I can't do this, pero. One of the things that what I've been learning from even boxing now, and really just taking control of my health and my conditioning, my body, is just that the boxing is it's like fighting. I look at it, I use it as a metaphor. It's like fighting life. Every day we wake up, we have to win the day. We can't lose the day. We got to win the day. We got to come in there with that winning mentality, that winning thought of like, I'm gonna win today. I have to. I have un dicho that I repeat to, it's a mantra. I say, nothing or no one will ever get in the way of my success, or nothing or no one will get in the way of my success. And success can be defined in many different ways. Some people use money to define success. Others use happiness, family, and other different versions. For me, it's just all around. Nothing or no one will get in the way of my success, period. And that's awesome. It's just what keeps me driving. So, Damian, I want to say, man, thank you very much. I look forward to you starting off your show back in the studio. I look forward to coming back and being a guest on your Comadre del Valle every Sunday. What time is it? It's
usually at 9:30 on NBC and 11 on Telemundo. We do Telemundo. 2 shows, one English and one in Spanish.
That's right.
Sometimes they switch times on me, and I roll with the punches. Whatever time they give me, I'm taking it.
There you go. Well, Damian, thank you so much again for taking time away from your family to be here with me tonight. Episode 30. This is the season finale of season 1.
Good job, man.
So
congratulations.
what a way to end it. I'm excited because again, in the next couple of months, or after January, I'm going to come back stronger and come out from everything that I've learned in the last 30 weeks of doing my show. Which, by the way, it's a lot of work, and this is a 1-hour show. I could just imagine what you go through for production and your stuff, and I mean, this stuff is peanuts compared to what you're doing. But it takes a lot of work to keep going for an hour and stuff like that. So, anyhow, gracias, Damian. Te lo agradezco mucho, man. much love, and I appreciate you representing the Latinos and representing our community in a very positive light, because we need to continue to do this moving forward, man.
Gracias. Be well and wear a mask.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll get back to you backstage right now. I'm going to wrap up here.
Okay, you got it.
Wow. Thank you, everyone. What an amazing human being. What an amazing interview tonight. What a way to end episode number 30. That's 30 weeks. Crazy to think that 30 weeks ago, I started the show just on an idea based on the fact that COVID-19 had kicked in, and I was wondering, what the hell am I going to do for my time? And I had just dropped my book, Smoke and Mirrors. By the way, you can pick it up on Amazon.com. Smoke and Mirrors, and my other book, Decide, Commit, Execute. We were broadcasting live here from my new office, my new headquarters in downtown San Jose. I'm going to pivot this screen a little bit. Got a little pool table in here. We got a couple other little toys that we're playing with in here, but I'm excited to be here, and I think that it's important that I wrap it up strong, because I plan to come back in 2021, season 2 of Mauricio Mejia Live, bigger, stronger, bolder, better, all of the above. And I just want to say thank you so much to all the guests that I've had, 30 weeks, 30 different guests, entrepreneurs, celebrities, business people from beginners to already high level, multiple businesses. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's left comments. You guys are amazing. I appreciate all the positive feedback that I get. I'm doing this for our community, for us to share my story and to share my ups and downs in business and in life, because I'm an open book, man. I think that if we all share with each other, we can all learn from each other. So I want to thank everyone that has been with me on this journey. I'm going to be coming back stronger, and again, broadcasting live from my new headquarters in downtown San Jose. I'm so happy. I want to thank God for giving me this ability to power through these times that some people haven't been able to have the mental toughness to get through this. So please drop a message, send me an email, send me a direct message. You can go to my website, mauriciomejia.live. You can leave me a message here. You can direct message. You can find me on my Instagram, Facebook, on my YouTube channel, or you can come visit me here at the office. We can shoot a game of pool back here and talk business and talk about life and talk about positive things and seeing how we can continue to give back to our community. So again, thank you so much, everyone that has been with me from the bottom of my heart. I love all of you that have supported me and continue to support me. And get ready, because it's not how you start the year, it's how you finish the year. And we got less than 2 months now, less than 8 weeks till the new year, and we're gonna finish strong. We're gonna finish strong. We got the holidays coming up, and we definitely gonna finish strong. So guys, be sure to be safe out there. Wear your mask. It's not about people trying to control you. Just do it for your own health and other people's health. Continue to take care of yourselves, and just again, thank you so much. Mauricio Mejia Live, episode 30, season 1 finale. Gracias y buenas noches.
Smoke and Mirrors is the book from entrepreneur, public speaker, and now author Mauricio Mejia. Mauricio takes us on his journey spanning over 25 plus years in the nightlife industry and growing up as a kid in the tough part of town on the streets of Los Angeles. Plus, newly released, The Entrepreneur's Quick Guide, Decide, Commit, Execute. Order your copy today on Amazon, Smoke and Mirrors, and the newly released Decide, Commit, Execute.